Hey everyone, so I wanted to do a quick video on APY and kind of dive into the most important metric really when you're staking, because that's kind of what everyone's looking for. They're looking for the APY. Like all the other metrics on Look into Maxi and pretty much all the metrics that we talk about in HEX, like T-share price, T-share rate, etc., they're all kind of abstractions of the main thing that we're all looking for, which is APY, right? So I think looking at APY gives you kind of like this holistic view on the value of a stake. The only thing that it doesn't really include when you look at APY is kind of like the length of the stake and how long you'll be able to earn that APY. Because once that stake ends, you might be losing it. So yeah, the so what is APY? I guess we can start with the basics. So that's the percentage yield that you're generating on your principal per year, right? So on $100, if you have that invested and you're making $10 per year, then that's a 10% APY. And in HEX, there are just like a bunch of different mechanics at play. You have bonuses, you have the T-share rate ratcheting up. These all play into, you have the burn on Maxi, we saw the burn on the supply. There's all, you have the length remaining, so Maxi has already started. There's now, less than 15 years left. Like what's the APY on that remaining period that you would experience? There's a premium, there's a discount on the actual dollar value versus HEX. And so there's just so many factors that play into it, right? So I guess the baseline is the APY in HEX. That is the APY based on the amount of HEX that is in the stake, and the APY is calculated based on the payout per day. And yeah, so we're seeing like a 37% APY on Maxi, 30% on Deci, and it goes down. Base is at around 12%, right? And then now this APY in dollars. So that's just like a useful metric kind of baseline. Like, okay, this is what the HEX is generating on itself, right? From mint. And then the APY in dollars, it accounts for a bunch of stuff that I mentioned, like the discount, etc. And that is effectively the APY that you will experience putting in fresh dollars today, for the taking into account everything, right? Like the yield that you've earned, that the stake has earned so far, the yield, basically the total yield that you'll get at the end, based on your share of the pool. So that takes into account everything, and you can kind of see for tokens like Maxi, which is at quite a bit of a premium on both the backing and the mint, you're getting quite a bit less in terms of APY than the HEX kind of baseline. And that's just because you're kind of overpaying, because the price of Maxi is higher right now than it kind of should be. And then vice versa, if you look at Deci, it's kind of the opposite. It's a discount to the stake backing. It's at a slight premium to the mint, but you're actually earning more in terms of APY. And so the true kind of value is kind of somewhere between the backing value and the mint. And the way that I like to think about this, it gets a bit complex, but the way I like to think about this is Deci worth one HEX? No, because it's already earned 1 year's worth of yield, right? Like that's 30% that needs to be accounted for somehow. So it's not worth one HEX, it's not worth the mint, right? Now, is Deci worth the backing value of the stake? Also, no, because you're not, like, if you pay the backing value for the stake for Deci, you're kind of just like locking funds away at the exact value of the stake, and you're kind of forced to hold that for the next 9 years. And you're not earning APY on that, but you're just like locking up your money, but basically. So kind of the effective APY is like the fair value for DESI is for all these tokens is like somewhere between the backing value and the mint value, and that's kind of where you can get the APY to be where the HEX kind of fair value APY is. But right now, DESI's kind of undervalued, so effective APY is higher, Maxi's kind of overvalued, so effective APY is lower in dollar terms. And then you have like Lucky, which is just like a raging premium right now. And so, yeah, the effective APY is much lower. And so it balances out, right? Like this is an opportunity for people who minted eLucky. If they can sell, then, they can sell and bring that down and then make the APY in dollar terms juicier for new people coming in, and they benefit, new people benefit, and everyone can kind of participate. So yeah, we have the same thing on the Pulse side. DESI also at a similar discount, APY quite a bit higher, 37%. This was as high as 42% a few days ago. So yeah, the difference between its value and HEX has kind of gone up. So yeah, you could have caught a 42% on this, and then some of the other tokens are a bit closer. P-Lucky, for example, a bit closer to its fair value in terms of APY. P-Trio as well. So now the kind of other APY metric that I want to show you is the APY of solo stake in HEX or dollars today, because like a fresh stake, whether it's in HEX or dollars, it's the same because it's a new stake. The market price is the same as the kind of backing price, and since it's a solo stake, there's no kind of there's no two prices, right? So the HEX APY, dollar APY is the same. So a new stake, solo stake, the maximum that you can really get based on today's payout for kind of a max bonus stake, 555 or 10-year stake, is 24%. And so you can kind of compare not just what you could get at the start of these stakes 1.5 years ago. So 30% versus 24%, 37% versus 25%, 24%. You can see that the APY is dropping quite a bit just because of the T-share rate ratchet, right? And this is exactly what people talk about. This is what people mean when they say kind of go back in time and get T-shares at a lower T-share rate. What they're basically saying is go back in time and get high APY T-shares, right? Or get high APY stakes. Now, obviously, if you look at the APY in dollar terms for PMAXI, for example, it's actually right around, interestingly enough, it's like right around the APY of a solo stake, which starts today. So, if you're deciding between buying Maxi on the Pulse chain or starting a fresh solo stake, that's a tough decision because, they're basically, it's a tough decision in terms of APY, right? Like I would still buy Maxi for the gas savings, but in terms of just looking at APY, it's pretty much the same in terms of APY. And then PDESI, you can see that 37% because it factors in this discount and the fact that solo staking is only at 24%. You're getting a really big spread here. And at times, I mean, right now it's not quite double, but at times it was, you're looking at 42% it's not quite double, but it's getting damn close to double the APY, right? So definitely interesting to look at kind of the opportunity cost, I guess. There's a way to look at it, like the opportunity cost of solo staking versus buying one of these pool tokens, right? Because you're missing out here for P-Lucky, you're missing out on APY. For P-Trio, you are not. You're actually getting more with solo staking. With DESI, you are missing out. So really, really quite interesting. And it's been super interesting digging into this kind of APY metric just because it's like there's so many nuances and so many different things to take into account with it. But I think this metric will be super valuable for people because this is like a a better way to kind of compare the tokens than the discount to mint and discount to premium, discount to backing. So yeah, go have fun with the APY metrics and kind of try and find the highest APY, try and catch a really high APY day on some of these old HEX stakes. So enjoy.